Hi, folks. I was on Grizzlies. I just ran down and got a quick cup of tea. What you think? Hi, Betty. Or is a sap on that? It's a bit mad, isn't it? I wrote down a few notes. It's just, I don't know, they kind of contradict themselves. We're told Friday was the day. They got the guy. Oh, I must just send this on to Bloke, actually. I think it might be. They got the guy, but also it's complex. It's not finished. It's ongoing. We can't release anything. We can't tell you nothing. Which makes everyone think that they're heavily exploring the possibility of other people being involved, or at very least they're not ready to rule it out. So how do we get here? How do we get on to Richard? Was it totally random? As in, like, just a random tip came in? Or was it related to everything else what was going on? What's your thoughts? What you make of it? Hi, Dan. Listening from Northern Ireland, lovely. I love the new census recently. You don't think this was his only? It's very hard to. He like came out of nowhere. All the addresses, anything that can connect any old address or any cold case he'll be looked at. But like, what does Doug Carter mean when he says it's fascinating? It's complex. And they didn't give us any details really at all. I was hoping for just one big one. But like, what that's going to do now is in the next week or two, you're going to see things are just going to spread like mad. Because we all have so many questions. Like, on the one hand, I'm buzzing, delighted for the family, but I want everyone who has anything got to do with this caught now. And I know he said, just be patient. Don't blame anyone for the silence other than me. He's just trying to take that away from them. But I am being patient. I'm just confused. No, it wouldn't hear, Julie. It's going to go to a court hearing where they'll have to argue it to keep it sealed. But they're keeping it sealed for a reason. It would be mad, wouldn't it, if it was a coincidence? But I've Bloke here. I'll drag him in. Hi, Bloke. How's things?
Here I is. How are you doing, man? It's a good day. I'm trying to figure out what I should do because I'm streaming myself. Yeah, I've been streaming since 1 o'clock our time.
Oh Jesus, you're going a while. So
Me, I just did a Zoom call and made a cup of tea with my mum and dog, bro. It's a good day. I'm celebrating. I said I'd make an Irish cup of tea, put some whiskey in it. It's on Monday, so and I ain't got no whiskey.
yeah, it'd be handy if you had some.
Yeah, I mean, if Dad sent some over. I mean, Guinness in a tea wouldn't be so good, would it?
I was not I'm still a small bit. I don't know. I'm obviously happy, but I just have so many questions and I'm a bit confused as well.
What are you confused about?
Because I'm on half the press conference they're telling us we got the guy, this is the day, Friday was the day. I had such a feeling coming in here of closure, and then they're like, it's not over, it's complex, persons involved will get. I'm like, what's What's not over? Why is everything being sealed? Why isn't it being released?
There's probably a paedophile ring. Let's be honest.
I see. I don't
I
know.
think at the very least, someone's going to get charged with assisting an offender. In my opinion, at the very least, because I know some people are quick to say, "Oh, the wife must have known." You know, you're married to someone, you must know. But I just don't know. You know, Richard Ramirez. Remember that guy? They had a sketch of him.
Most
When
times they don't. They don't have a clue. They don't see it coming at all. They're shocked. But like, for all we know, she could be the hero in this case. She could be the one after killing
exactly,
Randy, you know?
exactly. I'm gonna quickly put a hoodie on there, my friend, just because it's flipping freezing. Don't know how it is in Ireland.
Oh, it's
I
raining. We're 3 days of rain there now, to be honest.
3 days. That's a lot of days,
Yeah.
man.
It might break for about 30, 35 minutes, and you're like, oh, I'll get out for a walk, but it's
Yeah, you
just not
like your
working.
walks.
I do.
Also,
Although-
I had Mama Pax like come home when I was making my copper. So like she was even saying like it's far too long. And when I said that there's like because she follows this, you know, I tell her about it. And she says, you know, it's a long time coming. And the second I said that there's gonna be more people, like it's not closed at all. She goes, well, there's definitely a ring. There's definitely a ring. She knows all about Keegan or Kegan or Kagan, whatever he's called. I think the pig squealed. Sorry.
Yeah, but he's a liar as well. So, like, as far as I know, he, like I said, that Tony did it. He was waiting in the truck. That he threw in a knife and a phone into the Wabash River. They didn't find a knife. They found other stuff that they seemed at the time before anything's processed to be confident about. And then his home being raided at the same time. It'd be such a coincidence if this isn't linked. But maybe that's what's so fascinating about this case is that they were going so heavy down one way, and then all of a sudden, random tip comes in.
Well, you remember he said about a fire pit. Like the clothes got burned in a fire pit, and the thing they were digging up in Mr. Allen's yard was a fire pit. So
Yeah,
I think maybe there's a white lie, kind of half truth to it. You know?
no, they definitely dug up Tony's mother's house. I know people who were very close to it.
Yeah,
It
I
wasn't
don't
his house.
doubt that. But Allen's fire pit as well. Is that not a mad coincidence? That fire pit's been dug up both ways.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure whether it was a fire pit or the flower bed, but there was activity. I seen that video you sent me on, actually. I just seen the first few seconds. They have clips of it, is it? Of the search.
They have 4 exclusive pictures on HLN, and obviously because we're not American cable payers, are we? So I had to get it off of Reddit. Someone was kind enough to record their laptop or TV screen. So I sent that over to you. Frank Meister is actually at the conference, and he live streamed a couple people flipping talking to Mike and Becky Patty. And what's it? They said, "Do you reckon there's other people involved and that someone new?" And Mike was like, "Well, what do you think? Small town, isn't it?" So I think at the very least, there's going to be people arrested for assisting an offender or providing a false alibi. Whether that's whoever, I don't know. I'm not here to make that judgment.
Yeah. And I know, and I was saying to Grizzly as well a while ago that there is certain things that we know for a fact. They put in the Ron Logal arrest affidavit that they suspect that there was pictures or videos taken.
I mean,
so there's things going to be like, was there pictures or videos taken and passed on to someone else? It's going to be, it's hard now to stay away from that sort of thing because of what they said today.
Have you listened to that HLN thing yet?
I listened to the first 2 seconds. I might play it here now.
Do listen to it because they say about items that were taken out of the house, and one of them was shoebox. And it's like, why are they taking a shoebox as evidence unless there's something in it of importance?
Did they say that?
Mate, they said it. Listen to that HLM report. It's only about 2 minutes. I'm gonna quickly put a hoodie on while you listen. I've listened to it like 3 times.
I might need to turn that up now.
Yeah, it's quiet. I'll mute my mic.
I'll turn on my piano. Guys, I lost my piano for yesterday's stream. I found it again though.
area. H1 investigator, producer obtained exclusive photos of that. So Barb, talk about those pictures and what they show.
That's right, Cheyenne. So I did speak with some neighbors of Richard Allen who watched on Thursday, October
Can you hear that,
13th,
guys?
as investigators searched his
Just
house.
about.
They saw investigators arrive just before noon and asked Richard and his wife to exit their home and remain outside, where they did remain outside for the entire day. The entire process took about 12 hours. We have exclusively obtained 4 images showing that search. In the first image, it is a bit from a distance. You see 2 men standing. One has his back to the camera, the other is side to the camera, and just over the man with his back to the camera, just over his right side, you can see the shoulder and head of Richard Allen, who is standing outside of his wife's vehicle. The neighbors tell me that his wife sat in the vehicle for several hours. He stood outside of it. At some point, he did get in the vehicle with her. The second image shows him sitting in the front passenger seat of that vehicle. My understanding is that for several hours, while they kept
Wow, look at all the
Richard
people.
and his wife outside
How did this not get
their
out?
home and in the driveway of
It did
this
kind of a week prior.
investigators also remained outside, and as it approached nightfall, the neighbors tell me that they saw Carroll County Sheriff's Deputy, Chief Deputy Tony Liggett, who they know, who is a member of the task force and was on the stage here today. He arrived with a piece of paper. He took that paper over to Richard Allen and showed it to him, and it was after that that a tow truck arrived and began towing his vehicle, and the officers went into the house. One of the neighbors watched with binoculars as he says investigators came out of the house with several items. They had 2 large bundles of what he described as dark-colored cloth. Perhaps it was clothing, but he said it was getting dark at that point and he couldn't identify it for sure as clothing. But 2 bundles of some sort of dark cloth. They also took out a Macy's shopping bag and a shoebox. The neighbors also watched as 2 areas near Richard Allen's shed in his backyard were searched. They were described to me as being rather small areas, one, in fact, being so small that they thought perhaps only something like a bottle cap could have come out of that hole. That area is still undisturbed. Nobody has been at Richard Allen's home since Wednesday of last week, when it is my understanding that he was taken into custody and in court and charged on Friday. So these are images from October 13th from the neighbors.
That matches up with other stuff we've heard.
Lived a few houses down from him for several years. They said there was really nothing special about him. He was very quiet. He and his wife had lived there for a long time, and they didn't have many visitors over. They didn't have parties or anything like that. And they were very quiet neighbors. They would see Richard when he'd come home from work, and he would sit out in his driveway and sit in a lawn chair and have a few beers and a few cigarettes. But they said there was never any trouble from their neighbors. They had no idea when this search happened, what was going on. And then on Friday, as the news started to break that there had been a major development in this case, they called a family member of Liberty German that they know, and she indicated that their neighbor might in fact be connected to this case. So very interesting developments here.
Wow. I got more information off that than I did the press conference.
That's what I'm saying, man. Oh, someone's asking me what's the picture on my shirt. For people who follow Delphi, you know full well who Hoosier the Bruiser was. Passed away on January 10th, unfortunately. But this guy was all about the Delphi case. He's a Hoosier himself. But because he passed away, you know, I had one chat with him, was going to do a second chat, but he passed. And I wore his t-shirt today just so, you know, he's kind of like there in spirit. And I tried keeping my t-shirt on as long as possible. It's flipping freezing. So, yeah, I see some people want to send me a Michigan hoodie. I mean, I'm happy with the Alabama hoodie. My boy Bart sent me this. And it's an inside joke because someone said I was from Alabama. I don't know why you'd think that. But today, I'm very kind of happy with today. Some people were doubtful, you know, skeptical. But I think we've 100% got the guy. But I think there's going to be people who assisted him or kept hush. Or, I don't know, maybe there was a second person. I don't know.
So You think it's a coincidence that Kegan Klein googled the garage from around the corner of his house on the day of the murders?
Absolutely not. No, I think Keegan is Kegan is the pig that squealed. I think he said to police one thing and said to others another. Because you had at least two women. I mean, that's what I'm going to say. Two women. I'm not going to call them any other names. That were trying to be lovey-dovey with Mr. Klein behind bars. It's a bit sickening. It's a bit wrong. But I don't know. I wouldn't want to send him money. I wouldn't want to pretend to be his lover. To be brutally honest.
Yeah, I've no time for some of that stuff. Like whatever Kegan said, he's already said it to the FBI. Do you know? Never mind what he says to someone
he's full of it.
To send him $20-$30 so he can go down and buy some soda and biscuits in the canteen. Like, no, I've no time.
400 on it. You wanted $400 for an interview or something off of someone.
Yeah, and all the girls talking to him as well are sending him money because he's like, oh, I can't talk to you without putting credit in the phone. So they're all posting him, and it's not much, but like not much in there. I don't want them to have a penny. Like, look what he's in there for. Look what he's done.
See, I don't care how much info you want on the case or how much justice you want for the girls. The fact that this guy was possibly the person who did it, as far as we knew before recently, and he's at the very least a child porn distributing paedophile. So why you'd want to give him money and cozy up to him and be in a relationship with him?
Yeah, but we have from the detectives, the police themselves, saying to him, and they could have been lying at the time, that the Anthony Shots profile, was the last person to talk to Libby.
Well, they made it so public. They were clearly either desperate or it was of importance, but we don't find out until, say, January 13th is his pre-trial. March 20th is the trial. And he pled not guilty to 2 counts of murder. So that's
another article as well as reported that he's not cooperating at all. Obviously, he's not talking to them.
Yeah, when you say not guilty, he's going to have... The details are going to be told in that trial. Possible crime scene photos going to be in that trial. I feel for the family. Mike Patty said when Frank Weiser was doing that live stream, he says, "What do you want to say to Richard Allen?" And he says, "I'll talk to him when I see him at the trial." So if he stays with that not guilty, I really feel for the family, because we all saw. Sorry,
I was just saying I'd love to know what they found, because it must be something good if they're carrying out shoeboxes there and items of cloth. Like, there's no way, Callie, they're going to try and going to arrest him and put these charges on the table and set a date for a trial without being confident of conviction. So, like, on one hand, they're so confident, they're happy going in there that they got the guy, but they're not going to release any affidavits. They're not going to tell us anything about it because there's something about whatever happened that may, like they said as well, persons involved.
Well, the fact they say person or persons shows that they literally don't know, but they want to make sure, like, I'll be 110% certain that they've got everyone. You can't let a single one of these nonsense slip through the net. You really can't, especially on something so serious. But with a not guilty trial, like I say, it's just going to be real heartbreaking for the families if he keeps that up, because also with the Florida school shooter and that, he got life instead of death because it went to a jury, this, that, and the other, and they had to go through that school and see all the bullets, all the blood, all the shattered windows. They had to go and see the lot. And they're going to show pictures, and they're going to go into pretty grisly detail about what happened. And I really feel for the family. If that's why they find out, like, at the trial where everyone else finds out, it's heartbreaking, really.
Yeah. And like, even this commentary, these guys sell stuff in the dark web for Bitcoin. That's an area I stayed totally away from all along because it gets into the conspiracy side, I felt. But no, with this and with the kind of conflicting information here, you're kind of looking at it going, what? Like, is it possible? Like, who else is involved? And how, in what way could they possibly be involved?
Well,
like what's the motive here? What's the motive for Richard to go out on a Monday afternoon and kill two of his neighbours' children?
I'm leaning towards it was sexually motivated, unfortunately. I really am. And I think the fact, there's rumours Libby was targeted more so and kind of attacked more so than the others, than Abby even, sorry. We all have seen the blonde girl on the bridge. And I think maybe he went there possibly to fill his gratification, his needs and that.
But that's a gratification for killing, not for any... Like, as far as I know, the girls weren't...
Yeah, there wasn't any charges for that, was there?
Yeah.
But, I mean...
They said that in the Ron Logan affidavit as well, that they weren't... like, the girls weren't... I know they're obviously killed brutally and anything, but there wasn't any sexual assault as far as I know.
Well, in that case, I don't know. But I think if Libby was targeted more, I really do fear if he was angry at his daughter or something. And he was like, well, there's a blonde girl. Took it out on her more than Abby. But again, this is all just rumours. So, I mean, we're just going to be left wondering in that. But he's been charged with 2 counts of murder. They've clearly got... If a judge sees probable cause and a judge allows them to arrest him after he's been detained for 2 days, I don't think the judge is an idiot, really.
Yeah, no, it's definitely something solid. And you'd have to think it's either items of clothing from the girls or a photograph or some sort of DNA that they said they had. I know people were talking about his pet and stuff that can link back. But even if it was the pet one, I could make an excuse for that. I don't know, would I be signing off a warrant on just that? I think whatever they have, it's really, really good and solid. For them to have that feelings today, for him to go and tell the family, today is the day, Friday was that day, the feeling he got when he went in there saying, oh, like, pretty much that it's like one half they're all talking like it's solved, and then the other side is it's not over, tip line is open, this is very complex, it's fascinating, the turn which led us back here. I just love to know a little bit more.
I'm going to address 2 things I've just seen. Tara is Libby's mother. No, she's not. It's Carrie. Carrie is the mum. Derek is the dad. Derek isn't the grandfather, and Tara is the auntie, or Tara is the auntie.
She's her aunt.
Yeah. It's Carrie and Derek that are the parents. 5'4". Someone says 5'4". I bet he was bullied, denied by girls. Wife probably bullies him. I won't go that far about the wife because the wife seemed very happy, very giggly, always taking pictures, this, that, and the other. But I mean, 5'4". I got some slack for saying this. If you are a grown man, you're fat, you got one leg bigger than the other from what I've seen. Like he had a very stiff left leg that was a bit shorter than his right. His right could move properly. Like his right was his strong leg. His left seemed a bit stiff. If you're 5'4" to 5'6" and you are a grown man and you're fat and you're dealing with drug abuse or alcoholism and you've got a lot of anger pent up and you're possibly a nonce, you got little man syndrome, and it would not shock me if anger and like building up inside really drove him to it. But I think he was led there. I don't think he just showed up and was like, wow, here's 2 girls, let's kill them because I got weapons in my pocket. He knew.
Yeah.
He knew prior.
And like one of the theories early on, and something I thought a lot about is not obviously nothing blaming the girl, not blaming the girls in any way, but just young teenage girls, the way all young teenage girls can be. Was there a comment or a giggle or some sort when they were going past him, and something that just made him snap? But then the weapons and the crime scene contradicts that. It looks like something was set up. So it's just confusing.
That's what I'm saying. I don't lean towards Spirit at the moment, and when I've seen Bridge Guy, I've always seen a goatee, a stiff left leg, and a gun in the blue jacket pocket. And with that little brown hoodie tail or shirt tail, I've always wondered why one arm is raised up. But when I've looked at the picture recently, I can kind of see if he's holding onto a knife in the brown hoodie part of the pocket. The gun is in the jacket pocket just above the knife. His left hand's actually in his jeans. And I can see that now. I know some people say, oh, it's definitely Ron Logan because Ron Logan walks like that. but I don't see that, and I've never seen a white mustache. I've seen a black goatee, and this guy had a brownish goatee with a baby bit of grey on the bottom. And you saw that mugshot earlier. He looks like a Chinese monk, full white beard now. Within 5 years, he's gone from like having colour in his beard to just like.
I don't know. I think it's very hard to tell with the picture, because people are like pixels or pixels. You can't just add them in and make them up. And I know there's programs where you can zoom in, but then they'll generate pixels based off artificial intelligence. It's just tough to go off it when you really can't see. Like, it's not that you can't get the detail that we want from it.
No, I know the picture's rubbish in that, but I've always seen a goatee. I know some people are like up for debate on that.
Yeah, but you can see the shade anyway, or some sort of stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to get up a picture for you, so because literally, how white his beard has got is insane. Because this was just after the murders, wasn't it? This bit here. Who's the guest speaker? This is Nav. I've put his thing in my chat. But I mean, look at the difference in like a few years. He's gone from like a bit of grey on the chin to like pretty much completely white. So he's been stressing. I know some people are like, well, he's clearly confident. I think he's been stressing his balls off behind the scenes. How he got caught, I don't know. We don't know. I don't think we're going to know. And yeah, the video is really hard to tell. Like we literally, we know F all, let's be brutally honest. We just got to wait for the facts. We're going
to have a long wait now for any facts. Like,
no way to tell. There's a knife next to the gun, and you can see that now. Well, I don't know. I mean, I assume there's a knife that he's holding in his hoodie pocket. It's just what I see. I'm not here to argue with anyone. This is a day of unity and celebration, not falling out. And again, it's my opinion.
You don't actually see it though. Like, you're just coming to a conclusion based off what you think is there. Like,
I would go as far as to say I can see a gun in his jacket pocket and a goatee on him, but I've always said that. I've always said he's got a stiff.
I'll leave you off at the goatee, but the gun, you can see something in his pocket.
The blue jacket, there is an outline of a pistol. Yeah, in my opinion, I've always seen it. It's just my opinion. I don't know, do I? I know as much as everyone else.
It is likely that a gun was used in some way to control the girls down the hill.
Yeah, exactly, man. I'm not here to spout my opinion as facts, so please don't get me wrong on that.
I don't know. I'd love to know, and
I'd love to know
what they found at the house.
We've just got to wait, mate. It's really not our place to know until it goes to a trial or they are willing to release it. I know some people are upset that say...
Yeah, but usually at this stage, you get the probable cause affidavit released. Like, that's common.
Yeah, but again, they reckon there's probably more to it. Apparently, Abby says that Gunny has a gun. See, I don't know that much.
What could be in that probable cause affidavit that would damage the case?
A big paedophile ring or a big network of people that have not been uncovered yet. So if they arrest this guy and say, this is all we have on him, there might be some people behind the scenes who are like, damn, and now I can delete this evidence. I can get off this account. I can sort this. I can sort that. You don't want people to know what you know until it's fully done and dusted. You need to be 110%. If you let one person slip, you failed the girls, really.
In that case, don't set a date. Don't be setting dates for trials, do you know?
Well, I'm not the police, mate. They know more than I.
I know. I'm just thinking aloud here now as well, because I'm just it just is a bit. It's just a bit confusing how on one hand they have the guy, and on the other hand, they're still going to explore the possibility that other persons were involved and will be held accountable.
It could be as simple as someone gave a fake alibi, or people knew and didn't say, or people were helping dispose of evidence, or there's people in his massive ring or network. It literally could be as simple as that.
And trial rules. I wonder if he actually asked for that. Actually, he could have.
Asked for what, sir? A speedy trial?
Yeah.
What, Richard or the police?
Yeah, like Richard could demand it. Like,
what, in America you can demand a speedy trial for yourself?
Great.
Decided by judges.
I think the Klein account and the Kegan are related to Richard Allen. It's hard not to think that they are, isn't it? With the search of the Wabash River, the search in Klein's home, him searching, or Kegan's device searching. I always check myself when I say that. Kegan's device searching the address of the garage around the corner from Richard's house. It's very hard to think they're not connected.
Well, what I do know is it's close knit in the sense that I know that someone who Kelsey followed on Twitter must be like Kelsey's friend. Apparently, her parents built the house that Richard now lives in, and that she lived there until she was 7 years old. And I saw that by coincidence.
I think we're going to see a lot of that, though. The community's so small, you're going to have loads of people who followed his wife, or I bet you'll find some way back to Klein from family and friends, or a mutual friend. Here, look, there's one mutual friend there of two of them. They must know each other. But it's just very interesting. Like, if they're not related, that means that they were heavily going down the Klein Road, and at the exact same time that they're doing searches, someone totally unrelated comes up with evidence that gives them enough confidence to charge them for a double murder. Like, that'd be nuts if they're not related.
I think that probably is a connection, seeing as they were so certain in that. But again, what's it? Who's your cold? I've just seen this. Who's your cold cases was just outside the presser. Said it seems as if the Kleins may not be involved at all. I mean, it's all assumption, isn't it? But regarding the pistol thing, I mean, I can't be the only one. I mean, it's hard because I'm married. I can't be the only one that clearly sees a pistol outlined in that jacket.
But you don't. That you see, and like you're probably looking at the pistol there as the handle being at the back. All you see is something in his jacket. I'm not saying a pistol wasn't involved.
Yeah, I understand. But
that could be a book. Do you know?
It looks like a Glock there. It looks like it's got a pointy thing, a handle, and a cock at the back.
I think that's your brain screaming at you. A gun was used. Look at the gun. Look at the gun. All you see is something in his jacket. But I don't think it's a detail that's too. Like, I do think a gun probably was used to control them.
Yeah, I was just explaining what I like, the basis behind what I just said. I don't want it to seem like I'm not screaming I'm a psychic or anything, because I know as much as everyone else. I'm in another country as a year, but I do see a pistol there. I mean, it looks like a Glock, but it's facing the wrong way. That's just what I see. That's what my brain tells me. Anything else, I don't know.
Yeah, but that jacket is interesting as well. Did you see I think it was December, that photograph where he's in the car and he's looking kind of guilty? Like, that's from December, and that coat is very similar to that jacket as well, kind of blue jacket.
The one from 2016?
Yeah, where he's looking in a folder. I thought it was a laptop at the start. I think it's a folder, though. And his wife comes up and scares him, and he gets a fright and looks up and just looks dodgy.
Yeah, I know what you're on about. I don't think people should be harassing the wife or the daughter there. Yeah, this one here, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. He's in a blue jacket and that. I mean, this is 3 months before the murders. So, I don't know, but that kind of looks like a fabric fleece, whereas this looks kind of like a thin, what's the word? Windbreaker. You know? He looks like he's in like a blue fleece, like a bit kind of like fluffier than a hoodie is. Whereas this is like a thin fabric, like a windbreaker, the way the wrinkles are going inwards and that. But again, we don't know.
Yeah, no, it was just his face there when he looked. I'd love to know what he was looking at. What was in that folder?
Well, 2 or 3 months prior though, wasn't it? So again, it's all that's the problem. It's all speculation.
I'm missing loads of chats. I'll have to do a jump down. Sorry, guys. Oh, thanks for the super chats and stuff. Nice one. Crime. Hey.
Come on, Gray. We really should be arguing here, aren't we? It's just an opinion, bro.
Well, what are you arguing about?
Hey, Crime Geek, how can you possibly see a Glock? She ain't alone, my bro. I'm just saying, man. Come on. Opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got one, my man.
Yeah, but
I'm not presenting it as fact.
Yeah. I already said anyway you can't see nothing, so it was grand. I don't know. I just find it conflicting in my brain. I want to be like, yes, they got the guy, but then I'm like, but what? Why aren't you releasing the info? And what else you exploring? Because like, if there is anyone else involved in this, like, I want them like know as well. I'm sure, obviously, like, will the family really get closure if they're being told, or there could be someone else involved? But then the trial is set; they're moving ahead. So
again, we got to find out, haven't we?
Yeah,
We got to find out.
There's no way they're going to charge him without having something solid. And again, going back to that report, the is someone referencing Greeno as a source?
Yeah, who said Greeno is a good source? I don't think anyone has said Greeno is a good source in this chat. What is going on here? Come on, man. Let's give that a rest. Especially if you knew the story behind Crime Geek and Greeno, you would not be saying.
I stay away from all of that. The only thing,
Greeno's a tosser. I mean, it's plain as day.
Yeah, but the only thing I ever mentioned about that is I seen you in his recommended channels. Remember that months ago? And I was on to you being like, this is so embarrassing for you.
Yeah, and I think Crime Geek removed me from it, and then he got banned. So happy days. I'm not on it. I mean,
but sure, look, he might be closer there now to Richard than anyone at the moment.
Yeah, I do too.
Pretty sure they were in the same place for a while. I don't know.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I was just going to say there, like even my interest, obviously, in Gray's thoughts, like, but he's been in this case a long time, and if he's finding it very hard as well to see that the clients isn't related in some way. Otherwise, it's all a total coincidence that they were looking so hard down this road, all these resources, all the interviews with Kagan where they're saying all this stuff. We know there was 2 people communicating on the profile. We know that when this communication was taking place, it was coming from the house, and there's only 2 people living in that house. I just have a lot of questions.
Yeah, there is. There's more questions than answers, but I'm confident that this is the guy on the bridge. I'm more than confident. I mean, they must have had to have DNA or something he kept in relation in order to charge him with 2 counts of murder. Isn't it really difficult to charge someone with murder without a body or evidence relating to said murder? You can't just say, "Oh, I think it's you, so I'm going to charge you." That's how you lose thousands in court, isn't it? Hundreds of thousands.
There's a lot of no-body trials proceeding. Larry Millier, a really good one. If you don't know anything about that case, he murdered his wife, dumped her body the next day, and his trial is coming up soon. They have no body, but I guarantee you they'll get a conviction because there's audio of gunshots, but they're not even going to introduce that. Like, that's a good example. Larry Millier, he was charged straight up with no body. Straight away, the charge comes, we get the arrest affidavit, we get all the details of why they charged him, why they're going down this road, and it's overwhelming. They're not even going to bring forward in court the audio of the gunshots. One of the neighbours recorded, I think it was just a camera outside, you can hear the gunshots, and there's a bit of a screech as well. It's not nice, but they're not even going to introduce that into evidence because they know the defence can sprinkle some doubt in it. But all the other evidence is so overwhelming that he will get charged without a body, which makes me wonder as well, is there some sort of, I don't know, I just wonder with the family, is there, like, would you rather someone get life in prison and not have a body, or 60 years in prison and try to find out where she is? I hope they find her, because it feels like he has a little card to play. But this guy, if you don't know him, look him up. He was contacting witch doctors to put spells on her online, to be like, please hurt her so she won't leave me. Then he stopped contacting all the witch doctors the day after the murder. Bullet holes in the house, just so much.
Bullet holes in the house, and they still could have a field day with the evidence.
They're just so hesitant with. It's just so easy with no body, no murder to defend, but it's getting harder because now with phones and with your digital footprint, that it's pretty convincing to be like, no, this person disappeared. They have no credit card. They're not going to leave their kids. They're just vanished into thin air. Whereas, like, if you go back 20, 30 years ago, it might be, oh, they're off traveling somewhere. Who knows, you know?
Yeah, what's his last name? Millier.
Millier. Millet.
E.T. Okay. Millier.
Millier, yeah.
Alright. Is that an American one then? Yeah, if he's using a gun.
Yeah. And she was, I think she was going to divorce him as well. She was meeting divorce attorneys the day before. But that'll be a really kind of fascinating trial as well.
Well, that's a red flag, isn't it?
Yeah.
Filing for divorce and then get shot.
He converted a lot of his money into Bitcoin and stuff, and then tried to bounce just before they arrested him.
Well, that's good. Cashless, no trace, I guess, but only for a short while. There's only so much you can buy of Bitcoin before you got to sell it and put it in your bank.
I don't know. I know very little about it, to be honest.
Yeah, don't get me started on crypto, bro. I know too much about crypto. When it comes to Monero and Bitcoin, I'm all about that. Like, I did the math. What was it? If someone sold 50 copies of a snuff movie for 20,000 a piece in Bitcoin the day of the murders, in today's money, that's just under about $50 million if they were to hold on to that.
You're making huge leaps, Sterno.
No, that's what I'm saying. But if people want to go to the snuff movie route and that they sold pictures and videos and they sold it in exchange for Bitcoin, they're not getting bank transfer for this stuff. And they held on to the Bitcoin instead of cashing it in straight away, they would be millionaires. But again, that's speculation.
I wouldn't be talking about any of that stuff on any other than in the Ron Logan arrest affidavit. They've said in writing that they believe there could have been photos or videos taken and that the bodies were posed. You just don't want to charge without all your ducks in a row because the defendant has the right to speedy trial and you have to go to trial unready. But what do they have to say that they were confident to do this now? It must be good. I hope it's good. Like, we had a case recently, Debbie Collier, and they kind of were going down a murder route, and I was like, oh, they must have something good. They must know for sure. It must be ligature marks or something. And it turns out they had nothing at all. They were just running away with themselves.
Yeah, I didn't really follow that one too well, but I know that like her car was on fire and she sent a Venmo, which is just strange.
Yeah, but we're dealing with different boys here, you'd hope. I think whatever they have, I have to believe it's very strong that they're going to go out and tell the family today is your day. Like, today's the day you've been waiting for.
I don't feel like Doug Carter would say it if he wasn't 110. I feel like Doug Carter is really emotionally invested, like more than most would be.
Yeah.
So I mean, I trust his judgment. I noticed that like when Tobe popped up, he said Naffle. Like Tobe didn't say a flippant thing.
Tobe is in a bit of trouble at the moment. He's a civil case filed against him 3 days ago, so I was surprised to see him there. And the guy in that case is actually referencing Delphi. He was like, oh, they wouldn't go the route I wanted to at the start of the case. But he had nothing to say all along until he didn't get elected to this position. And now all of a sudden he's coming out, so I'm just wary of that. I like Doug as well. I think sometimes he can be a bit, I don't mean this in the wrong way, but just being a bit overly dramatic. The sniffles today was really annoying listening to it.
Oh, I have no opinion on his sniffles, man. I thought you were going to go on about how like he's very kind of like cryptic.
Oh yeah, he sure during the week he was out saying this is fascinating. Well, I'm like, Jesus, Doug, tell me what's fascinating. And then today to say, look, we're going to be silent. Just blame me. Don't be blaming any of these boys. We're giving you nothing.
Well, I mean, people say no new info was given, but they say that he was charged with 2 counts of murder. We didn't know that before. We got his mugshot. We didn't see that before. And it was 100% confirmed to be this guy. It's not just a name. It's the name of the face now. They kind of they told us the trial dates. We didn't know that before. So they've told us a few things. But I mean, the fact that we don't have... Some people are upset, like, why don't we have a cause of death? It's like, well, taint the jury or make the defense prepare sooner than they should. We've got to get a conviction, not just a day in court and then being set free.
I get that, but a tip line still been open. Like,
any info is good info. They don't want to be too cocky, do they? This guy was overly cocky. He got caught. If they're overly cocky and they're like, right, this is done and dusted, here you go, end of. And then it turns out there was a paedophile ring and they're letting children be you know what because they were too negligent and close-minded to investigate further. That's innocent children being attacked, assaulted, the rest of it. So they got to be more than confident. Because what was it? The biggest CSAM thing in Indiana history or something like that?
Yeah.
They got to be confident, my friend. I trust them.
Yeah. Great. I think he's the heart and soul of the case, and the family loves Doug Carter. Yeah, and he's even on some of the streams there where you see him being on with Kelsey earlier on. He looks very kind of good and gentle with her. And if they think a lot of him, then that is good enough. And hi, G, how are you? She's gone out for a walk after her chat. Yeah.
Decent. Yeah. I like Grizzly.
Lana, how's things? We were pushing Monkey's website on Grizzly's stream earlier on at the end. She asked me did I have anything to plug, so I just plugged his site.
Didn't they have an arrest in that though? Or
What?
am I wrong? Didn't they arrest someone?
No.
No?
Oh, no, not at all.
I could have sworn a few weeks ago they had a suspect or something. Am I completely wrong?
Yeah.
All right, forgive me.
I'd love to know what you see now to get that into your head.
I don't know. I could have sworn you posted something like ages ago.
No. That terrifies me now because I'm just wondering, like, is there people out there looking for this little boy? Did they see something that will
I'm probably being a thicker and I mistook something. That's me.
Maybe.
You know more than I do regarding that case.
I'm hoping to have an update on his. I'm just working on his website because I didn't do some for a few weeks. And give it a little revamp there for during the week.
Regarding the Kelsey bashers and their channels, dude, they better be sued to the ground. They better lose their estate. They better lose their house. They better be drained of their bank accounts. I want the Patties and the victims of like the victims' families to have these people's estates and these people be on the streets. Like, forgive me if that's horrible for me to say, but these people are the biggest see you next Tuesdays on the platform. How they still have channels, I don't have a flipping clue.
YouTube should just, I often wonder, I'd be happy if YouTube just demonetized all of true crime. Just do it, just bang. I think it would get rid of a lot of people who are kind of in it for that. And there's other ways to support channels or people as well. But they're a disgrace, bloke. And people don't realise half of it. I was saying during the week, and like going back to Gray there, he's dealing with the last 5 years. People totally underestimated the abuse that the family was getting and what it's like when you have a channel. And it's happened me in Monkey's case where his mother has been in my chat and someone just leaves her the most disgusting comment. And then I'm like, I'm responsible for her getting that comment when she's going about her day because of my channel. And it's nuts. And the stuff with Kelsey, I posted a lot of it, the comments I got on my members tab going back a few weeks because I was just shocked that it was happening and the level it was. I made 1 or 2 videos and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. But even after making 1 or 2 videos, it wasn't until I made 20 videos that I realized the scale of it. And some of you out there most people in this chat are good people. So your algorithm probably will never bring you there. Like, it will never show you some of this. But some of the stuff out there is disgusting. And what they've done to the families over the last 5 years is disgraceful. They should have their channels deleted. There should be repercussions for it. And I don't care. Everyone's, they said sorry, fair play, that's classy. No, go away. You're an absolute scumbag. Get out of here. Do you know what I mean? You can't come back from this now. After 4 or 5 years of bashing a family and be like, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Too late. Do you know? Too little, too late. Damage has been done.
I just went to True Crime Design's channel and the first thing in her community tab is just a picture of Cody Patty.
It's just disgusting. Like,
True Crime Design is the True Crime Design.
There now, like, even the fact that you said her name there now, there's going to be 1 or 2 people go over and give her another view. That's why I just try not to even mention the name. But they will. There's going to be people here who know nothing about it, and all of a sudden now she has 50, 100 extra clicks. Do you know? I don't know. It's disgusting. It makes me mad when it happens. And there's been a few videos where I think there was one earlier on where I just lost it, and I was like, anyone inside her coming at Kelsey, just get out of here. Like that video, the comments that I got on that, the amount of people that I had to block, people are like, "Oh, Princess Kelsey, oh, another Kelsey lover." You're like, "What are you? You're psycho. You're psychopaths." Who I'm convinced there's some undiagnosed thing where people just get off on this in some way. I don't know, they have some weird jealousy of actual victims. Do they have some weird jealousy because Kelsey has, I don't know, 20, 30,000 Instagram followers? Do you think Kelsey cares about her Instagram or
She's got
Twitter
more things to
followers?
worry about.
Do you think she wouldn't change that or give all that up to have her sister and her friend back? Do you know, it's just madness. I'm going off on a rant now, but it really gets on my tits.
Yeah, the people who don't understand why she might have like did a nervous laugh or like been a bit shy and awkward at times is because they don't understand what it's like to go through trauma and have PTSD. They really don't. And you know what? They're really lucky that they don't have to deal with that kind of shit. But I mean, I think they deserve it more than she does, really, to suffer mentally like that. Because when you have something like this happen to you, of course you're gonna have PTSD. Your little sister's just been like brutalized, and you know nothing about what's happened for so long. And yeah, Slow Joe did disappear. What's it? I think it was around the time he started going off on people again, because he deleted his first channel, went off on people, went back to normal, and then went off on people again. But you know, I'm not sad that I can't find his channel. But
YouTube's going to have to step in eventually with in a couple of years with all this stuff. There's going to be something outrageous happening in a case. Like Quentin Simon there, a missing child at the moment. There's people protesting outside his house. There's fights outside his house. Just ridiculous. And it's all for clicks and views and super chats and under the pretense of we're true crime comment channels and we're looking for justice. You're not looking for justice. You're looking for clout and money. And I think the only way, I know it's harsh, but the only way to solve it all is just demonetize all of us. Just get rid of all of us. And then you won't see the half of it. Because I've been down this road, I don't see how they can manage it. I don't see another option down the road. Like,
well, certain people are so low that the only way they can feel good about themselves or feel normalized is by bringing people down to their level, which is probably why these kinds of people are attacking people so ruthlessly. Their whole channel is dedicated to being absolute jerk-offs.
yeah.
I
And
don't want to say any more names. That's the problem.
Yeah,
Don't want to bother.
I've no bother in a case where the evidence or the facts points to someone in a family or close, but when it's not there and you're insistent and like the confirmation bias, there's actually really, I need to make a video on it. I keep talking about Monkey, but the Michael Vaughan case, Michelle After Dark did a video, maybe, I don't know, was it on her Michelle Walks channel or her main one, maybe about a month ago, where she just called him out and skinned him alive, basically. It's a video on this topic. It's very interesting because she has their document. So all the things that they put together about why the family is involved, and she just rips it apart, goes through it. You can, the confirmation bias in the document, you see the things they're putting in and the things that they leave out, like facts, still like big facts and things that the police tell us. They're like, oh no, we don't want to know any of that stuff. But oh, look over here. What time was who threw the pizza in the bin? Do you know? It's just madness. But I don't have the patience for it. And that, like, even that case, like all my stream, we sat down, we tried to build a website for him. All my streams were flagged straight away, all falsely reported to YouTube for everything you can kind of think of. And I'm like, just saddos, go away. Like, we're just sitting here trying to help find a little boy, and all you're interested in is bashing the family. His siblings were, like, people think this content doesn't matter. His siblings then were in school, and like kids can be, like, their friends and other people in their class were making comments about some of these trash videos online and upsetting the kids. They were being bullied because of this content, and like anyone watching that content is contributing to that. Like, you're contributing to kids of an innocent family that have their brother taken away, being bullied in school because of the content you're watching on YouTube. It's just,
kids are ruthless.
Yeah, It gets me up, and I've no bother going talking about anyone if the evidence or facts go there. But when there's nothing there, and when it's just psycho stuff, it just makes me sick. Like, they have enough to be dealing with without this crap. Like,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, kids are ruthless, and so are people who are so hateful of themselves and low in general that they got to bring others down. They got to just chat rubbish, because I mean, like hate views are still views, but these hate views usually get more than views of people just presenting facts, talking normally, and being respectful. Because people like controversy. Like when you go on news channels, no one wants to really listen about like how this person's had a business for 30 years and he's really helped his community and now he's retiring. They'd rather hear about someone shot dead. Who is the killer? I mean, it's about drama. Like, it's almost entertainment more than it is news to most people.
I made one Kylie Rodney video saying that she died in an accident and I lost 50 subscribers.
Yeah, I saw that. Big up for that.
Whereas if I was like, oh, do you know, there's something going on here, you'll get 10 times the views, 10 times the subs, but like I'd be lying, like you'd be lying to people. And people do it. Or they at least stay away from some of the truth. Either they're lying or they're dumb. Like there's one or the other, like, or as thick as a plank, as I said.
Well, I would say my opinion here. I think half these people who lie, accuse, clickbait, are nasty to victims in the family, they're all meth heads. They all need to make money to smoke up their pipe. So I mean, you got to do what you got to do. If you can't get, well, it's blood money and dirty money, isn't it? But these people got to get their fix. It's expensive smoking all that meth and crack and whatever the hell these people do. It's not like they sit down and have a cup of tea like me. They're flipping borderline schizo.
There's definitely something going on psychologically. And it's when I see some of them that have kids the similar age as well. It's like, how could you?
Yeah.
How can you not know the damage that you're doing? Like, but they don't care. They're getting, their brain is buzzing when they see the views or see the comments and some of the chats, like some of the comment sections underneath these videos. You're like, whoa! If I knew nothing about the case and just came in on this video, like then you've something else going on here where you're suddenly going to start believing it, like being like, oh, this must be true. Look at this video on YouTube and these 200 comments, 300 comments down below, all sharing a similar opinion, like patting each other on the back. It's just, it's nuts. It's nuts. But I like to think that most people, if they did dip their toes in that or came across something like that, will see the truth eventually, like, or come out of it. But a lot of people don't, like, which is sad. And those videos, it's clear, like those videos, those channels will always do so much better than someone just talking about the facts.
Let me address Beach Ferry. Why are you making fun of addicts and mental health? I literally, prior to what I've just said, I've said people don't understand what PTSD is like, and that might be why Kelsey acted the way she did. Maybe she was a bit awkward at times. As someone who has been diagnosed with certain mental health things and who has fought addiction in my past, pull your finger out. I'm not attacking people who are addicts and who have mental health, because there's a big difference between people who suffer and people who project their suffering onto others. There is a big, big difference. So no, I'm not doing what you've just accused me of.
A lie will travel twice around the world while the truth is still putting on his pants. It's true. Yeah. And like we all, even greater, like everyone does speculate, but there's a difference when you're speculating on facts, you know, and when you're just pulling things out of thin air because you got a gut feeling. Cleo Smith, I always reference that as well, but like I've had chats after she was found where people were still blaming her father, her dad. I don't know, there's just something about him that I have a feeling. It was like, she's been found. We know what happened. We know the guy that took her. And you're still going after her dad, saying that he had something got to do with it.
These people should sue them to the ground, like I say. They should take their whole estate and leave them on the streets. I mean, I don't like people being homeless and that, but if you're going to be such an arsehole, you deserve to be on the streets. You really do. There's veterans and real good people on the streets who deserve a house more than these people. Forgive me if that's tight, but that's my opinion, man. If you're going to be so disgusting and try and ruin someone else's life, your life should be ruined from you, ruined yourself. I'm not saying kill the person. I'm not saying take their life. But yeah, slander and defamation. They have a whole case on their hands.
Yeah.
So
massively. I must try and find somebody. If I scroll back here, I might be able to get some. Because people were surprised when I even shared some of the comments that Kelsey was getting. It's just it's sick.
Yeah, it's disgusting. It's real disgusting. And people dox as well, don't they? I see. I'll put my hands up. Back in December, the infamous TCI, who has been taken down for scamming people. I'm not going to name drop, but people know who TCI is. I was in that crowd because I didn't know any better. And then what's it? I was being given random people I'm not going to say any names, but we all remember the people who followed Delphi. We all remember that person who was abusing his Adderall prescription, posting loads of videos and cryptic tweets after Libby's Twitter got hacked by a Saudi Arabian bot, not by this person. He got manipulated into interviews, accused by people pretending to be their friend, slandered. This guy had mental health. He was abusing Adderall. If this guy drove himself to suicide, these people would have blood on their hands. And I don't support that kind of stuff. To accuse random people and to manipulate people and to accuse people, disgusting.
It's happened in this Summer Wells case. Like there was a person there who was falsely accused of being an RSO, and he killed himself a few weeks later. No accountability.
Registered. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He wasn't at all. He had a totally wrong guy. Video went out, got thousands of views. Everyone just moves on. Everyone's known. You know, they don't care. Like they generally don't. I'm trying to find somebody.
JP inserted himself. The dude was suffering. He was clearly suffering. He got tipped in. He got interviewed. He got let go. Should have accepted it as that. Don't give me that rubbish.
Just looks like a normal person. Photograph of a kid, so they obviously have a child. Last one to see the girls alive, but off limits. Kick me off then. No loss here, just more censorship. Your opinion is the only one that counts. Like, there's a difference between having an informed opinion, and obviously everyone has the right to an opinion, but that doesn't mean your opinion should be respected in any way. Like,
these people act holier than thou. That's the problem. They think they know better than everyone else.
Yeah.
They don't. We all know as much as each other. That's the big problem we've all got to accept. We can have decent discussions as long as we're respectful and factual. But if you're going to present opinion as fact and be making accusations, not cool. What's it? Someone took offense to me saying the word schizo. Come on. I wasn't saying all schizophrenics are assholes. Really not. I'm just saying these people. I mean, it's a nice word for them, isn't it? If they're absolutely batshit bonkers, I want to believe in my heart that it's not their fault. Simple as. If you take offense to it, take offense to it. I'm not going to apologize.
I'm just scrolling back through my members tab now looking for screenshots. But I remember the comments underneath. Like, people were just, because like most people are decent people, so they would never have clicked on the videos before or searched any of that stuff, so they don't realize the scale that it was kind of on for the families, you know.
And if I said anything out of line, you tell me off now.
No, you're grand.
All right, as long as you think I'm all right,
we have listened to it. You're okay.
I mean, I got a strong opinion, but my opinion is my opinion. It doesn't mean you got to think the same as me. If we were all the same, life would be so boring.
Yeah. I'll show here. Do I have? Wait, I'll try it in. Lads, this is the notes. This is all I took down for the press conference. That's it. That's all I wrote down as it was happening.
Let me go full speed on this boy.
2 counts of murder, long term
Yeah.
and complex. Today
Any
was
other
the
person?
day, Friday. Arrests will be made. Any other persons will be held accountable. Details not for today. Far from complete. Be critical of me. That was Doug for the silence. Not the front line. March trial. Tip lines still open. Pleaded not guilty and is not cooperating.
Yeah.
So it's not much. We literally got more from that video from Barbara. What did she say again? So there's
I sent you the HLN clip, didn't I? I
Yeah.
didn't remember the top of my head, but she had 4 photos and said certain things about things taken from the house and things that were dug up. Beach Fairy, I love you. Chill out. I love you.
I might watch that again there. If people missed that, I'll throw it on her. But this
I'll
was
mute
a
my
bit
mic.
more interesting than the
vehicle,
than the
lots
trial.
of activity
Or
in
the
the
trial,
small
the
area.
press conference.
H1 investigator, producer obtained exclusive photos of that. So Barb, talk about those pictures and what they show.
That's right, Cheyenne. So I did speak with some neighbors of Richard Allen who watched on Thursday, October 13th, as investigators searched his house. They saw the investigators arrive just before noon and asked Richard and his wife to exit their home and remain outside, where they did remain outside for the entire day. The entire process took about 12 hours. We have exclusively obtained 4 images showing that search. In the first image, it is a bit from a distance. You see 2 men standing. One has his back to the camera, the other is side to the camera. And just over the man with his back to the camera, just over his right side, you can see the shoulder and head of Richard Allen, who is standing outside of his wife's vehicle. The neighbors tell me that his wife sat in the vehicle for several hours. He stood outside of it. At some point, he did get in the vehicle with her. The second image shows him sitting in the front passenger seat of that vehicle. My understanding is that for several hours, while they kept Richard and his wife outside of their home and in the driveway of their small neighborhood, that investigators also remained outside. And as it approached nightfall, the neighbors tell me that they saw Carroll County Sheriff's Deputy, Chief Deputy Tony Liggett, who they know, who is a member of the task force and was on the stage here today. He arrived with a piece of paper. He took that paper over to Richard Allen and showed it to him. And it was after that that a tow truck arrived.
Like, I wonder what that piece of paper could have been. I was thinking that first time around. Is that just literally we're taking your car? Or is there
List of names, a password? We just don't know, do we? Account details.
And the officers went into the house. One of the neighbors watched with binoculars as he says investigators came out of the house with several items. They had 2 large bundles of what he described as dark-colored cloth. Perhaps it was clothing, but he said it was getting dark at that point and he couldn't identify it for sure as clothing. But 2 bundles of some sort of dark cloth. They also took out a Macy's shopping bag and a shoebox.
2 bundles of cloth, a Macy's shopping bag, and a shoebox.
The neighbors also watched as 2 areas near Richard Allen's shed in his backyard were searched. They were described to me as being rather small areas. One, in fact, being so small that they thought perhaps only something like a bottle cap could have come out of.
And it's good this come out as well, because I was getting a lot of comments because I was putting up the stuff about the search 2 weeks ago, and people were like, Murder Sheet said there was no search. There was no search. Why are you spreading misinformation? Clearly, there was a search. There was a
Murder
search.
Sheet aren't law enforcement. They're just not.
Yeah, but like, what is a bottle cap? Like, not. How can
It
someone?
could be a ring.
That's
Could be a ring. Could be a necklace. Could be a knife facing downwards. It could be anything. Like, it doesn't matter if it's wide or. I don't want to be doing that motion, but
if you're searching such a small area like that, that feels like someone has literally put a pin on a map and said right here, like, you know.
That's why I think Keegan the pig squealed. I really do.
But how would he know the location out back and there's no connection yet? But it is complex, like they're saying.
of that
Does she go on to
hole.
say
That area is still undisturbed. Nobody has been at Richard Allen's home since Wednesday of last week, when it is my understanding that he was taken into custody and in court.
So I was right about that as well, about him being in since for 2-3 days.
He was
Charged Friday. So these are images from October 13th from the neighbors. They describe him. They tell me they've lived a few houses down from him for several years. They said there was really nothing special about him. He was very quiet.
Does anyone know the date this stopped in the Wabash River? It's very close to that.
Yeah, start of September when it finished. I think it started in August, ended the start of September. I could be completely wrong there. So within a month, it's come to this.
I think it was a bit longer than that. When I finished, they were there a while. It was an expensive
forgive
search,
me.
anyway.
Forgive me, I've never followed really the murder sheet to the core. I mean, I listened to the first interview they released to Keegan, and I was like, I can't. I just felt wrong. I don't want to hear
if they had no information, I was all over it. I still think, I think they did very, very good work. Especially earlier on, there was a document that got released unredacted, and they very quickly put out one, and the kind of redacted version took over, which helped innocent victims' names from not going out there.
So forgive me, it ended the end of September. September 28th is when it stopped. I thought they started at the start of August, or was it the end of August? I'm starting to feel like a bit of a donut. I clearly don't know as much as I thought.
It's the end of August.
So end of August to end of September. It's now the end of October, and someone's been arrested. I think it's linked. It makes sense to me.
Oh yeah. It does, unless it's a total coincidence that all these things are happening and Kagan's Googling. That's the information they got for us, the murder sheet. But the only thing I didn't like with them was recently when they brought your one on who was talking to Kagan in jail. Like whether they got caught in the hop or what, but they should have done their research. Becky Patty has specifically called out that person for hurting the family in the past. Like with some of the stuff that she has done. She mocked Libby's weight. She did sketches, comedy sketches of it. Like, what are you doing? And
sorry, who mocked Libby's weight?
No, I don't even want to. I don't want to mention her name, but someone that the murder sheet had on their podcast.
Oh, I know exactly who you're on about. Yeah, the second lover of Keegan.
Yeah, they shouldn't have done that. Like, they shouldn't have been in. They shouldn't be.
Yeah, that
giving anyone who hurt the family in any way, like clout or promotion like that.
No, it's pretty thick to let her on, in my opinion. She always used to be in my chats. Yeah, she made some comments about how I'm sexy and I sound sexy, and like I'm 21 years old, so I didn't really appreciate it.
Yeah, I just don't.
Yeah,
I don't have time for that, and I don't. And
yeah, like, I know exactly who you're on about there. Yeah.
People have accused me in the past of being a murder sheet fanboy, but I'll call them out as quickly as, like, the week before they had a podcast on ethics and principles, and then you're having this person on the following week. You know, you want to check yourself there a small bit. Like,
there was two women who said they were Keegan's lover, and it's not the WL person. It's just mentioned that I'm on about.
There's a lot of lunatics there, and there'll be more get onto him. There'll be people get onto Richard now, obviously, as well, no doubt.
If they can.
Anyway, they won't be able to get him.
A long time, and they didn't have many visitors over. They didn't have parties or anything like that, and they were very quiet neighbors. They would see Richard when he'd come home from work, and he would sit out in his driveway and sit in a lawn chair and have a few beers and a few cigarettes. But they said there was never any trouble from their neighbors. They had no idea when this search happened, what was going on. And then on Friday, as the news started to break that there had been a major development in this case, they called a family member of Liberty German that they know, and she indicated that their neighbor might, in fact, be connected to this case. So very interesting developments here.
Yeah, that's good. We literally we got more from that than we did from the press conference today.
Who's the person that posted that? I think it's just a random channel, isn't it?
Yeah, someone recorded it off their screen, I think, just to get it. What were you saying? So it's not on. Why aren't they putting this stuff out on the YouTube channel? Like, It's on
It's
Facebook.
HLN. It's an American. It's a CNN is the parent company, and like I didn't know that till today, but it's not in the United Kingdom, is it? So, did you see? I think you might need to be friends with the guy, but I can share a little 6-minute clip if you like of like Mike and Becky being interviewed at the press conference afterwards. I've not seen it anywhere apart from Facebook.
Have they got it there? Yeah.
Let me get it up and I'll sort it out for you, mate.
Yep.
But regarding the comment, USA Libertarian, you say something like I tend to agree with what you say, but when you say, oh, you shouldn't interview someone because they're not perfect, it's stupid, I agree. But if you're doing something on ethics, then you interview someone who's cozying up to a well-known paedophile and who has constantly attacked the family of said victim, that's not them being not perfect. That's them having
Like,
no ethics.
There's
So-
literally no value in the information she had either. Like none, zero. I learned nothing from it. There was
Yeah,
no
zilch.
benefit. And like if there was, I might say then, yeah, they were right. But
You have that interview, great. Do you have it on a better angle? Because I'm getting it from Mr. Frank Meister's Facebook page. He did a 6-minute live stream. He asked him a question. So Frank Meister actually asked Mike a question. I'm going to get it up because I think you have to be his friend to see it. And I'm his buddy on a Facky book. There we go. When I share my screen, you'll be able to hear my desktop audio, correct?
yeah, I should do.
There we go. Let me get rid of all these little chat bubbles I got so I'm not doxing anyone. Hopefully no one messages me. All right. Tell me if you can hear the audio before I actually continue. You see that? Tell me that you can hear this. Oh. Hear that?
No,
Make
I
sure that
can't.
you can.
I can't.
Can't hear that at all.
No.
Do I have to present it? Share screen versus present. I don't think I can download this video.
Maybe try to present there. Will I?
All right. Oh, present is share screen for flip's sake.
Is that?
I could have sworn. Oh, share system audio. I think I got to share my whole screen, mate. If that's okay.
Yeah, whatever.
All right. Be careful sharing screen audio. Other participants will hear themselves, so you might want to mute your mic for this. I'm gonna mute mine as well.
I want to make sure that we continue that, right? The next chapter is now we're on to the prosecution side, right? And let's keep that open out there, keep that flowing, keep the information coming in. I want to make sure we get as much information to the investigators, specifically the prosecutors, as facilitate this time moving forward. So with all your guys' help, we keep the information out there and keep the girl's name out there. And again, any information pertaining to anything with this case, obviously with the person arrested, but anything at all, please call that in. Please turn those tips in, because I want to make sure that that's how we support as a family, right? Keep it out there, asking for help, and you guys carry that message back out there for us, and we are so appreciative of that. But let's stay on top of that and keep pushing forward, because we got another hill to climb, and we're going to get to the top of it. We certainly are.
Mike, did you ever recognize this guy?
Well, Doug Carter said that early on, if you recall. He said he's hiding in plain sight, and that's the case. Didn't know that. I don't know the gentleman personally at all, So I've probably seen him, but it's a small county, But definitely I don't know him.
What went through your heart, sir, when the last couple of weeks when you heard of a suspect and an arrest? It's been so long.
It's somewhat bittersweet, knowing that while it allows us to move to the next turn or the next chapter, we still got a big mountain ahead of us, and we're going to stay after it. We haven't ever given up, and you guys haven't given up on us. So we're going to keep pushing all the way.
There's a lot of information that can't be shared, obviously, at this time. So why is it important to continue continue with the entirety of the investigation.
I want to make sure that we have everything we possibly need and more. I don't want to leave any stone unturned.
Becky, how are you doing? Do you have anything that you want to add? Sorry. Hi, guys. They told you on Friday, correct? Is that what
Well, we were called in on Wednesday and told that they had detained somebody. So we've had a couple more days to process this. I don't feel like I thought I would. I've always said that I would be screaming on the rooftops, but we're not. It's sad. While there's somebody that's been arrested, there is, our lives for 5.5 years have been in a search mode, and that's what we've done. And I get up and it's like, oh, we're not doing that anymore. So we're all just kind of feeling our way and figuring out what our purpose is now. What do we do next? How do we help? That's what we want to know is how do we help now to make sure we have the right person, to make sure there's a conviction, to come to a total final resolution.
Ma'am, are
think
you
there's
all
somebody
fearful
else
that someone
involved?
else was involved in this that is still at large?
That's certainly a possibility. And that's why we're keeping it open out there. That's why the investigators answered that question as well. The tip line remains open. So any information pertaining to this case, certainly I want to get that to the investigative team and let them vet that out.
You're fearful that that person or those people might have had a role in the actual crime itself?
I don't know any of that.
Do you think there's anybody in this town that knew about this, kept their mouth shut?
I don't know. That would be speculation, really. What do you think?
It's a small town,
Sure is.
a lot of people who know each other.
Yeah, I'll say that we're going to see face to face.
Hey, Mike. Hey, sorry, we got here. Next time we feel to know this guy, nationwide search. This guy just down the street. I know you guys are frequenting the environment.
Well, it's not an area that I really frequent, but I mean, your point is yeah, it's definitely, that's why we said never stop searching anywhere, because we didn't know where he was. And like I said, Doug Carter had made mention of that, is he could be living right amongst us, hiding in plain sight. That's what.
Mike, do you have anything to say to Richard Allen?
No, I'll save that for when I see him face to face.
So what was your part in mind during this charge?
Nice.
It was it's kind of bittersweet. It's I just know that there's another job, another hill for us to climb ahead of us. But we're up for the challenge. We're going to keep after it. We're not going to stop.
Why is it important to keep the tip line alive at this
Because
point?
I want every stone unturned, every bit of information that's out there pertaining to this case. I want the investigating team to have that information.
How
Do you think that-
confident are you we set them in?
That's what the courts will decide, right? But I'm confident. I've always had confidence in this.
What keeps you hopeful?
Yes, I'm hoping.
What keeps you?
Excuse me, sir.
Faith and strength of our family, and the fact that I know how hard the investigating team work, and they're not soft.
Who asked that?
They're probably men big time.
I wanted to speak about your faith because I know it was important to me. If it were your child.
All right, I'm going to end this live, guys. Be back with you in a few minutes.
Oh man, you feel for them, wouldn't you? You're on mute again.
Forgive me. Yeah, no, he didn't come back in a few minutes' time after all. Sorry, there's a loud noise. No, he didn't come back in a few minutes. I thought he was going to get some more, but that was Frank, or Frank Meister, who was actually there. He's the one who asked, "What would you say to Richard Allen?" You could tell by his voice.
Yeah. But I say it's such a bittersweet day for them because of everything what's going on. But then that just feels like a little cloud over it. The fact that there might be other people that had something got to do with this that haven't been charged yet.
Yeah, you got to make sure every episode is actually.
Did you see Becky in an interview a few months back, kind of blaming herself? It was heartbreaking. She was just saying she wished she kind of done more, or checked the phone more, or was more clued in to social media. But like, you're younger than me. There's no way she could have spotted any of that stuff on when you're talking to people on Snapchat. And if you want to keep it from an adult, you would keep it from an adult, no problem. It's just heartbreaking to hear her talk like that and say that when she kind of done like so much kind of at the start. Like, and they said, oh yes, there's a social media connection, there's not a social media connection. There actually is. So I'd say their heads are all over the place since Friday.
The thing is, surely you're not that much older than me, by the way. I'm 21 years old.
I'm
You're not
older.
that much older.
I'm still older, like it all counts.
Yeah. You're not like 30, surely.
What do you it doesn't matter.
No, I know, but you
Go
sound
on,
like a young man. I just kind of like, yeah. I'm not going to ask your age, but you sound like a young man yourself. I thought we were similar ages, my bad. But I grew up in the age of Snapchat and the age of social media, and I can assure you, I kept plenty from my mother. She wanted me to be safe at all times. She wanted me to keep out of bad crowds. It didn't stop me. I was a naive teenager, and forgive me, I'm not calling Libby naive or anything, but if a teenager with social media wants to keep something from someone, they're going to do it, because usually you have to suffer mistakes to learn from your actions. But like, obviously, this kind of whatever happened out there is irrecoverable, which is heartbreaking. But like I kept plenty from my mom. Like I said, she didn't like the fact that I was 15 years old out smoking pot with my friends. She didn't find out that I did that until I told her at the age of 19. She had suspicions, but she didn't want to invade my privacy, and she wanted me to grow and learn from my mistakes. So it's quite a difficult situation, and especially as a grandmother, like, it's not exactly like this is her mother. Like, this is the grandmother, and she's far older. She's in the generation of like, what's it? She must have been like the 50s or 60s. She was born.
Yeah.
So my mum's a 60s lady. She don't have a flipping clue. She knows Facebook and Candy Crush. That's about it. That's as far as it goes with technology. How to turn the telly on, change the channel, and how to play Candy Crush. Whereas me, I'm a bit of a little shit with my technology. When I was younger, I was doing all sorts, my friend, and I could keep it from people. There's still stuff that people don't know about me that I ain't ever going to repeat because I can keep it from them. But it's nothing bad.
Even Snapchat itself,
Yeah,
I don't know the exact details, but I'm pretty sure they unless it was saved in one of the devices,
yep,
they can't get back the actual conversations. What they can get back is there was a communication between this device and that device at that time, some sort of metadata there, but not the actual conversations. I know I think WhatsApp are bought by Facebook. No, but they were having trouble a few years back because remember, I think the Riva Steam Camp case. Remember, they all got blasted out there, all their WhatsApp messages between each other, even though they were deleted. And then WhatsApp
WhatsApp's really different.
Their encryption a few years back, I think, just to kind of say, if the messages are deleted, they're deleted. We're not going to be able to get them
Do you want to know the worst thing about Snapchat, my friend? The snap maps. I don't know when. I don't know when Snap Maps was introduced. I know for a fact the time of these murders on Snapchat, you could only record for 10 seconds and you had to hold it down. But I know that memories were a thing. So you could record a Snapchat, hit save, and it saves in your memories. Like, I can go on my Snapchat. I've been banned from 3 Snapchat accounts. And this is why people used to use Snapchat for drug dealing, pedophilia, the lot. Because you'd send a message, you open it, it's gone. You can't get it back. And this is why I don't really like it unless you save it. But I mean, I can swipe up on my Snapchat and I've got all these saved things here. Whereas if I were to send a snap to someone, they open it and no one saves it, that's gone. you're not getting that back. Even Snapchat can't give that back to you because they delete it after 24 hours. But I know for a fact you could save memories. You could only record up to 10 seconds. And I think the reason Bridge Guy is so pixely, and for anyone who studied media and stuff like this, image loss. It's when you have a video or an image, you save it to a cloud on mobile data. So when you use LTE, it doesn't want to drain your data. Like on Wi-Fi, a picture could be 10 megabytes. If you have mobile data and you save it from mobile data into like your memories on a cloud, it could be maybe 500 kilobytes because you lose all that compression. It just decompresses itself. And so it's all pixely, there's squares everywhere, things get blurry. So it's not the original photo, which is why I think the Bridge Guy thing came from maybe a cloud service like Snapchat Memories through the LTE, because it's not like they were connected to Wi-Fi on that bridge at all. And I've studied media. I understand what image loss is.
There's actually a really, really good, like on pixels and how things get pixelated in photographs. There's a section you can easily probably find it online at the end of the. Oh God, what was your man's name again? Rittenhouse, Kyle Rittenhouse case.
Did you say my man?
No, your man.
Your man.
Yeah, your man.
Yeah. Why is Kyle Rittenhouse my man?
No, I mean, like, what was the name of your man's name? I don't mean your man. I mean, that's just a saying. I don't know. It's just slang.
Sorry, I thought you were saying that like Kyle Rittenhouse is my boy or something.
No, not at all. But at the end of his case, they wanted to introduce a piece of evidence that an officer had zoomed in on his iPhone, and they literally explain how pixels work and how the artificial intelligence in the iPhone and in Android's phone can be different. What it does is when you zoom in, that will guess the pixels either side and try to make the picture clearer. But that's not the picture that was taken. You're changing the image. And you'll probably see this coming up in more cases now where they're using this stuff, but anything like that where you're going to change the image, essentially, it might be very close to what was there, but it's using artificial intelligence to guess pixels so you can zoom in. And it's just dodgy ground when you start doing that sort of thing, I think.
Mobile data and image loss, yeah, that's exactly what that is. That's why things can be smaller files than others. Like when you render a video, you could choose 480p or you could choose 1080p. If it goes to 480p, it's already got a 1080p preview, but it's got to decompress it and it guesses the pixels around it. That's what image loss is. That's the specific term for it. And I got a merit in media, so like I don't feel like it's too groggy for me to talk about all this. But that's what it's called. And again, with mobile data and a cloud service such as Snapchat Memories, that would decompress the photo or video to the max. It would be the worst possible thing. And I don't think Snapchat back in the day, you could save it to your memories as well as your camera roll. I think back in the day when it was first introduced, you had to save it to memories and then go out your way to save it to camera roll. But even then, you'd lose quality. And this is why I think they got the Bridge Guy video at the very least off of the Snapchat Memories cloud service. And again, LTE, poor connection. It's not going to make it any better.
Yeah, sure. Look, hopefully we'll get some sort of movement in the next few days if there is other people involved or something like that.
Yeah, it will happen before January, in my opinion, before January 13th.
Oh yeah. Grandma Sherry, are you okay in the chat? Sorry, I was looking away there for some of it. Thanks so much. I think you're on your own modding and stuff.
Yeah, I think Snapchat's 13 plus.
Sometimes I get caught up in the conversation and I'll look away from the chat from too much. I had a live stream yesterday where I was playing a video and I didn't even notice that I had no audio. Played the video away, was talking away after it without even realizing until people were watching on replay that I played like 2 or 3 minutes of just silence. I wasn't live streaming in a while. I'm still getting back into it. We might wrap up here. I've been sitting down here for about 5-6 hours.
Yeah, let me do these last 2 bits of information and then I'll let you go on your way. Age 13 is the minimum for Snapchat, which is lower than Instagram, which is 16 plus, which I think Instagram used to be 13 plus also. Same as Facebook, 13 plus. I don't know why. But you have to be the age of 18 to use certain features like payments or attaching one's name to a global spotlight, which wasn't available back in the day. So it's 13 plus to use Snapchat. But I can go on my phone, yeah. I'm not going to dox myself, but I'm going to show you. All I got to do is hit a button. See, this is why I keep my location off, because it's terrifying. And it's not really loading properly anyway. But I can... If I had friends in America... Oh, it's all green screen, for God's sake. But I could see my friends in America. See, it's all popping up now, all these stories. If I had a friend in America who had their location on, I could see exactly where they are to the T. So they don't necessarily have to tell anyone where they are. They just have to have their Snap Maps on. And let me double check Snap Maps was around in 2017 before I say goodbye. Snap Maps creation date. I know memories were 2015. I know that for a fact. But I could zoom out, hit a button. In June 2017, Snap Maps was introduced. Okay, so it was after the murders, Snap Maps got introduced. But yeah, they must have told someone then. But I mean, it's terrifying. You could have a kid on Snapchat that you think they're being safe in that. If they have the location on and add a random stranger, they could see you sat in your house to the T, pinpoint, and then show up. And I don't think Snap Map should be a thing. It's basically stalk essential. Why would you want to know where people are 24/7 unless you're like a crazy ex-girlfriend or something?
That's mad. I seen mine. I have a nephew, 17. I seen his Snap Maps last week. It's just thousands of people's location just plotted on a map of exactly where they are, how many minutes ago. I don't know how he has so many friends. There seem to be all over Ireland and all over the world as well, but it's just crazy.
And you think about if he was a girl and he had creeps adding him. And if he can see other people, people can see him. That's how it works. Unless he were to ghost himself. So it is terrifying that young kids can see all these random people. And random people can see where he is in his house, when he's used the phone, everything.
There is apps that you can get for... And there is some use in that stuff. So people have like family apps where you might have your kids and you're all in this family and you can see their location at all times. It's very handy. I actually used it at one stage in work where there was a few of us who were just kind of working together just to see what it was like and a bit of crack. And what we could do there as well is down the local shop, we put a pin there. So if any of us went to the shop, we'd all get a notification being like, oh, bloke is at the shop. And you'd be like, oh, texting to get something in the shop. So there is use for that sort of thing for families and close friends, but being public like that is a bit frightening and scary. But it's the world we live in, I guess, for now. And then we have creeps like Richard walking amongst us, living in plain sight all along, and no one has a clue.
Disgusting, isn't it? It's terrifying. I do feel for the kids of this generation. I'm glad I was a few years older than some, because I kind of managed to breeze past most of the BS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Bloke, I'm going to let you go because I have to get some food.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on.
Thanks for coming on and chatting.
It's amazing as always. Of course, anytime.
Yeah.
Thank you for the PowerPoint yesterday.
Oh, no bother. That link will work. So anytime you click on that, I'll update it now with other new information and stuff like that.
Beautiful. Thank you.
I just keep one of them going in all cases for my own sake. And I was like, why don't I just share this with everyone?
Yeah, I appreciate it. I didn't ask for it, but thank you.
Yeah.
Legend.
All right. Soundblock, thanks for coming on. And thanks so much there, everyone in the chat. I know I might have been a bit mad there at times. And Sherry, legend, Grandma Sherry. Thanks for being kind and respectful. And hopefully we'll get some more details soon. Just buzzing for the girls' families. Everyone in Delphi, you seen that video on the community and all that, how it shook them to the core. But at the same time, not madly satisfied with this, that there's a kind of little cloud hanging over the investigation and the possible prosecution. Not a cloud, but just I'd like them to know for sure who was involved in this, how they were involved, and for them to be brought to justice, really. Good luck. God bless. I hope you all have a lovely day. Thanks for joining. Please give it a thumbs up on the way out. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.